Hello, hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the Just Funny channel. Welcome to Wonderful. We're gonna have a great time tonight. Talking about The Flash, a movie that just came out. Don't worry, we won't talk spoilers in this movie. We're only gonna talk about how I felt, and if it's worth the viewing. So sit back, relax, have a water, and enjoy this new jazz.
Did you hear that voice? Yeah. What was that voice? It sounded like Morgan Freeman came down and just. I just whispered to the gods of my channel. What was it? Where did that voice come from? It wasn't me, right? Like I can never do a voice that
Dramatic, feel like it was some sort of narration, or makes you feel like you're more manlier than you are, like your voice is deeper in a way that you'll never have it.
I don't know. Weird. I think my mic just does that sometime. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. You know, it just happens. Like sometimes
I sound like a very I could sound so dramatic.
You guys like that? You have like the voices? Hello. Yes, it's weird. I know. We have more voices too, but we're just gonna stick with mine for right now. We'll mess with more voices later. But I just saw The Flash. Hello. Come on. I just saw The Flash, the movie that's like everyone's, on everyone's mind right now, because it just came out. Don't worry, we won't talk spoilers in this one. We're just gonna do a high pitch. All right. Well, we're just gonna talk about, general stuff, but
you never know how exactly my thoughts and opinions are gonna go. Like sometimes I can sound like a minion. Banana, I can sound like a minion at any time. Sometimes I could sound. We could do this all day. You see.
But right now I want to talk about The Flash. Because I just saw it. Andy Muschietti, director. I'm not sure if he wrote it. He might have. Let me see. That's probably a good question to look up. But I had this conflicting problem with this movie because I had a whole video on it. Like, would I feel like a monster if I want to go support this film? And ironically, I kind of didn't support the film while supporting the film because my movie theater gave me a free movie ticket. And I used that to watch The Flash. So I didn't technically pay to watch The Flash, but I digress. It was like I was going into this with a lot of emotions because I'm like a huge Flash fan, like I freaking love The Flash. Like got his mask right here. I was gonna wear it, if I'm being honest. I was gonna wear it in the stream, but it doesn't fit my face anymore. So I'm a huge Flash fan, and I was really excited. And Andy Muschietti, the director, was the same director that did like the It movies, It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2. Now, I will have you know, It It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 are one of my like more favorite modern horror films. I really enjoyed them. I freaking love them, you know? I like clowns. Clowns are cool. And I was excited to see what Andy Muschietti was gonna do with like the whole like Flash idea. It seemed like he was a really big fan, and it seems like he was really passionate about the idea. And I was like, hell yeah, because this was announced like 9 years ago or so. This movie was announced when the Flash show was announced, which literally like that show just ended. Like the last episode of that show was like a couple weeks ago, which on its own it wasn't that great. I'm like one of the only people in the world still watching the CW shows, but I was expecting a lot more of this film. I will say it was great. I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't say it was like because look, the thing is about this film when it was going in, a lot of the reviews, a lot of like the reviews before like this week, right? We had people like Tom Cruise and like the editors and like the people on set saying this is one of the best superhero movies of all time. You know, Ezra Miller was going GTA 5 on the world, and apparently the movie was so good everybody was willing to look past it, you know? So in my head I was like, bro, this movie has to be the freaking tits, man. Because like DC is willing to look past all this Ezra drama, like all these people are like saying it's freaking amazing and stuff like that. I was like, oh hell yeah. You know, I'm a freaking huge Flash fan, man. Like they're covering the Flashpoint. The whole concept of this movie is the Flashpoint comic book arc, which if you aren't aware of the Flash book arc, it's basically when Barry Allen was like, I don't like my life, I'm gonna go back in time and change it. And he goes back and change it and he messes up everything. And it's the process of fixing the timeline. Well, that's this movie. This movie is that. And from what I say, from a story perspective, it hit. Like it covered all the things that you wanted it to do, right? Like it's very Flash. like it's a time travel like choices. It's all about time travel, but at the same time the multiverse, but at the same time just one linear story about the Flash. You know, it's the idea of time travel and the effects of what can happen with it. And I think the movie did a really good job at doing that. It's just sometimes the pacing and the comedy and the way that they did, especially mainly in the first act, made it feel weird, you know? Like sometimes in the first act it just felt really slow, which was, you know, ironic for a character that's about speed. And there's a bunch of comedy. Like I know Barry Allen is a very lighthearted character, and he's a very like, oh yeah, I'm all about like being the funny guy, the charismatic guy. But like Ezra Miller's take on Barry Allen is just, it's nerdy to like like social anxiety nerdy to the max, which doesn't feel like right for Barry Allen. Like Barry Allen is just like a nerd, and he's so nerdy he's kind of cringy. But like Ezra's version is just, he's so nerdy and like socially awkward that it's to a point of just comedy. Like they use it all for comedy. But from an emotional aspect, I think Ezra Miller really did a really good job. You know, I think he really nailed that, and I'm not surprised considering the fact, you know, it's Ezra Miller. He's done a lot of roles in like the past that are very serious and very dramatic, so he nailed it on that front. Like the character work for Barry was very was very good. I liked it. It just, I felt like some of it wasn't to a point where it was like, oh, that feels weird. That doesn't feel exactly like the Barry Allen I know. Especially when you watch the CW and Grant Gustin doing Barry Allen for such a long time. Like his Barry Allen, although it's not, in my opinion, isn't a perfect Barry Allen either, I think it works better than what we got with Ezra. but who knows? Oh, the hell? What is that? Oh god, I hope it's something for my braces. Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome. We're not. I'm kind of just giving my feelings. We're just talking about it over general. Now, when it comes to the visual aspect of this film, Andy Muschietti nails it. He absolutely knew exactly what the Flash and the feeling of the Flash entitles. Like the idea of the Speed Force, the idea of how a speedster just works. It covers both ideals, where it's like going at super fast speed, but at the same time going in super slow motion. So like the contradiction of like both, and seeing both, and then also seeing the idea of the Speed Force and the idea of how they do the Flashpoint. Visually, it's very stunning. The entire third act is like a complete stunning CGI mess in the best way. You see all these characters that you weren't super expecting to see because of the multiverse, and it just kicks ass with a bunch of awesome like visual effects and stuff like that. You could definitely tell they focused highly on the visual effects on the third act, because majority of the CGI, in my opinion, in this movie was not amazing. There's a hospital scene in the beginning of the film, and they had some babies in it, and the CGI of the babies was like almost as bad as like Twilight New Dawn or whatever, Breaking Dawn, when Bella had her CGI baby, or like the CGI babies in The Mask. Like I'm just saying, like the CGI was like very uncanny valley and very weird. They use a lot of distortion to kind of give the feeling of what the Flash sees. And look, Andy Muschietti, I get it. I understand. It's an interesting ideal to do for like the film and like your character, but if that's not like super established in a well like way, it kind of just looks like you have bad CGI. And they do the cloning effect because there's two different versions of Barry Allen throughout the film. That's not a big spoiler, that's throughout all the trailers. And they do like the double effect, where it's like two versions of Ezra on the screen at the same time. I actually know how to do that, like edit. Like I've done it on videos before in the past, and it's annoying. And it's a lot of like things. But in this movie, they try to avoid all like the usual editing tactics for most of it, and they do a lot of CGI for one of the Ezras, and it's kind of uncanny. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing it wrong, and it's just maybe they just put an effect on one of them so it looks a little different. It's not CGI, it just looks CGI, and it looks not amazing. I heard that like people that watched this at the preview like weeks ago, it looks exactly the same, like they didn't fix anything, which is like from a standpoint of like action, I think it's really cool. It was just announced that Andy Muschietti, the director of this movie, is going to be directing the Brave and the Bold Batman film. I'm not surprised at all, because this movie was basically a beta, like a test preview for Andy Muschietti doing a Batman film. And there was a lot of dope action in it. I'm excited to see him take on Batman, because I think he nailed the Batman action, the Flash action, the Supergirl action. Again, all these characters were in the either trailers or posters, so not entirely spoiling. All the action and stuff like that were completely like really well done. It's just, I don't know, the story itself felt really weirdly paced. It wasn't a bad story, it just felt weirdly paced. The first act of it was like weird, and then it got really good in like the second and third. But when I say really good, I don't mean like oh my god, this is the best movie ever. More just like, oh man, this is awesome, like that's kind of cool, oh that's an awesome reference, that's a fun joke, like look at this, look at that. There's a lot to look at. It's when you're doing the Flashpoint, you're approaching the idea of the multiverse and the idea of all these different things, which is super dope. I'm glad they had fun with it, and there's a lot of fun to have with it. All right. Does Michael Keaton's presence feel forced? I love that he's there, but I'm not sure I trust the. So, no, I wouldn't say. I think Michael Keaton did a great job in the film. I will be honest, there are some one-liners that are like very tongue-in-cheek. They're only in there because, you know, it's like, we got Michael Keaton, we gotta do the lines. But for the most part, I thought his character was very well integrated in the story and not like thing. And I thought he worked really well. I'm interested to see how you feel about Michael Keaton once you watch it, but I don't think he was done a disservice in a way. I thought it was really cool. The actress for Supergirl did absolutely awesome. I was like blushing the whole time. I thought she was amazing. She was kick-ass. She was freaking baller as hell. And as I said, Ezra's character work was also really good too, especially with like, since he was playing two characters. He was great at like playing himself, but also playing a different version of himself. It was pretty good. Let's see. What else can I say without getting spoilery? It's interesting where this is gonna fit in the brand new DCEU timeline, because it ends in a way where it could kind of just end and not ever get mentioned ever again. Because James Gunn is doing he's doing a reboot, you know, he's doing a brand new everything. So like it leaves in a spot where we can never touch this ever again. like we could just walk away from the Flash and walk away from the universe and just be like, all right, that was the last one. Now we're gonna be starting with Blue Beetle and we're gonna be starting with like all the other ones. But I don't know where it fits in the timeline. It's really up to James Gunn, and I'm guessing the reception of like how it's gonna be like received like from the people and how like much money it's gonna make realistically. Andy Muschietti already said that he doesn't want to recast Ezra, like if it's his choice. But you know, Ezra's kind of been going on a little menace spree. Really glad to hear that. If they did Michael Keaton dirty, I would have righted. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll have your own opinion. Like, I'm not saying like he was like the best part of the film. Well, just to some he might. But I thought he did a really good job. I thought it was really fun. Honestly, my opinion of Michael Keaton in superhero movies has kind of switched over the past like couple of years, because like he straight up like just said like he doesn't care about superhero movies. Like I think he also said he's never seen any of his superhero movies. like he just doesn't care, which, you know, he doesn't have to care about the movies he's in. But you know, you're freaking Batman, bruh. You're freaking the Vulture, you know? Like, wear it out, you know? Be super proud of it or whatever. But hey, to each his own, you know? He's been acting for a long time. So, yeah. I thought there was fun. There's a lot of cameos. Definitely keep an eye open. There was some that I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh. And then there was one that I really wanted that I didn't get. Which, I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler to say which cameo isn't in the movie, you know? Because, yeah, there was one specifically that I wanted and we didn't get him. But it's fine. Sorry, my dog is like freaking out down there. But yeah, overall, I give it like a 7 out of 10. Not like the worst superhero movie, but not the best. It was just a good superhero movie. And you know, as being a Flash fan and always been wanting a Flashpoint freaking movie, I think they did justice. I think Andy Muschietti did justice. I think he did a good job. Visually was phenomenal, as I said. Just the way he did the idea of like using flash speed, using the speed force, the whole like outer lore of like the Flash and like the idea of the Flash that he brought into it was pretty rad, and I thought that was cool. As a Flash fan, I liked it. You know, so maybe, you know what? I'm over here hyping myself up. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. All right. You want to hear something funny?
I am the Flash. I don't know why that's in the Flash, but you know, I'm not Fernie right now. I'm making a voice that sounds weird.
I can also sound Mike Blanos from Portal. I can sound Mike Blanos from Portal. But technology is fantastic nowadays, and we can do some really fun stuff and some crazy stuff.
If I wanted to sound like a barbarian, all I would have to do is just lower my voice, and I would sound like a barbarian. This is my Batman voice. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. That's funny. That's funny.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny. I got funny voices now.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I got funny voices now. I liked the Flash. It was a good 7.5 out of 10. But yeah, you know, I just thought I would come up here really quick and give a really quick stream about how I felt about the movie. Get it off my chest. And yeah, you know, I'm not trying to
cause problems. I'm just trying to watch a movie. I'm just trying to watch a movie. Spider-Man, the movie was 7 out of 10. Oh, my dog doesn't like me singing. What's wrong, dog? Alright, I think my dog
I think my dog has decided that the stream is over. Yeah, well, that was just my general thoughts, guys. I was just a quick one. I just finished the movie. I wanted to flush them out in front of the camera. And yeah, if you're watching this in the recap, let me know what you think. And I hope you liked the movie, you know? And take your own opinion into consideration, you know. Don't worry about what other people are saying on the internet. Who gives a crap what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you like the movie, like the movie. If you don't like the movie, make 50,000 YouTube videos about it saying how it's stupid. It's up to you, you know. Different strokes, different folks. So if you like the movie, I hope you liked the movie. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was everything was going great. But if you didn't like the movie, you know, hey, that's on you, man. You're allowed to not like it. But that's just me. Is that just me? Or
It's not just me. Oh. Yeah, baby. We're doing it out here. Thank you so much for watching this stream. The very quick stream, I will say. But I will have you know this. Next stream, we will be playing probably Spider-Man or something else. I don't know yet. I'll still figure that out. You know, tell your friends to subscribe, follow along for the fun times. I'm trying to get 400 subs by I don't know. I'm just trying to get there. So tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your grandma, tell everybody. Just tell them, please. I will appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you all on later.